Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our NXT review. Tonight was the go-home show before NXT TakeOver War Games this Saturday. And I gotta say, another solid outing for NXT. I had expressed last week that I was weary that this week would measure up to last week's standards because I really enjoyed last week and thought that would have made a phenomenal go-home show. But you know what? This was great too. I think what I particularly liked about this is it didn't seem so heavy on video packages like I remember other go-home shows being, where it's just nothing but video packages nonstop. I actually seemed to have a good amount of in-ring stuff, including Mercedes Martinez versus Ember Moon, which I thought was a quality outing tonight. So yeah, on the whole, I've got to give this take-home show a thumbs up. I'm super stoked for War Games, I'll say right now, and I don't think this is really much of a spoiler. I'm looking forward to this far more than Survivor Series this Sunday, and I'm going to hand it over to my cohort and commentary. Bro, what did you think about tonight's NXT?
Yeah, I mean, you gave it a thumbs up. I would give it like a 45-degree angle between thumbs middle and thumbs up, like thumbs up-ish. Like, it was good, but it wasn't great. There were still 3 separate video packages for War Games, and one of them happened right in the middle of Mercedes versus Ember, which was really disappointing because it really disrupted the flow of the match and kind of disconnected me from it. And I really wanted to enjoy that match, so.
Yeah, that's certainly understandable, you know, since you seem to have a bit of a criticism there. Seems quite apropos. We could go right into our first segment, Heat of the Night. Do you have any nitpicks or heats of the night? Because I'm good tonight. I really don't have anything.
I mean, I guess that would be a nitpick in a way, just because even on frickin' NXT, which kind of where the women's revolution in WWE kind of started, we're still getting commercials in the middle of women's matches and not any other matches. So it's frustrating. But yeah, the only other thing that I would say is I'm not a fan of Riddick Moss and Tino Sabbatelli, but holy shit, did they get bitched out tonight?
Yeah, I can't believe, because I had an issue with my stream tonight, and I'm asking Ashton, like, did Angelo Dawkins pin Riddick Moss? And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, how? Like, what was the finish? And he said it was just like a right hand to Riddick Moss, and then Montez Ford played defense against Tino, and then that was it. The pin.
That was the pinfall. That was the whole thing. Like, that was it. So I guess Angelo Dawkins' right hand is a finisher now. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess new Big Show, new knockout punch. I think that's totally absurd. Look, I haven't been like an avid fan of Moss and Sabbatelli, but I have been on record as saying I think they'd be a worthwhile heel addition to the tag team division. But when you make them lose this way, it's not even the fact that they lost. It's the nature of the loss that I think takes all the steam out of them. So I think that's really just stupid, to put it the plainest way that I can. And then as far as your other criticism goes, I find that to be a more structural criticism, you know, the structure of the programming and how they place things. I obviously completely agree, but there's really not too much you can say about that. So is there any other grievance you want to air before we get into our formal review?
Let's get into it, my friend.
Let us get right into our NXT review. And how do you open this baby up?
With a sort of all-encompassing, this is what we're going to see tonight kind of video package, talking about the Drew McIntyre Andrade face-to-face and Ember versus Mercedes. But first thing that we get in the NXT arena in Full Sail is our first match of the night, Street Profits versus Riddick Moss and Tino Sabbatelli, which was a nothing match that ended in a punch. So I don't have anything to say about it.
I really don't either. I think we pretty much did the review of this in our Heat of the Night segment, so let's move on. What came after this?
A War Games video package.
I thought this was well done. I enjoyed each team, you know, speaking a little bit. It seemed like...
it wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. It was like an overview of the whole pay-per-view.
Oh, well, so wasn't it pretty much the same one we got last week then?
Yeah, it was.
Then let's skip over it. What came after this?
Lars Sullivan versus Raul Mendoza.
Again, I don't want to say it was a nothing match, but it really was a squash match. I mean, Lars dominated.
But Lars hit a Wrath of the Gods in this match.
Yeah, I saw it back pretty much Wrath of the Gods with slight adjustments so that nobody can sue anybody else. I mean, hell, imitation is the highest form of flattery, and I once tweeted that Jeff Cobb is a gem, and you got to appreciate him while you have him. And I think if other big men are looking to guys like Jeff Cobb, then you're doing something right in your own career. So yeah, Lars did kind of rip Rather the Gods put his own little twist on it again, so it wasn't complete like explicit plagiarism. And then he beats Raul Mendoza with what was the name of the finisher? They said it tonight, and I tried to remember it.
Freak accident.
Freak accident. Yeah, I like the name of that. And I actually liked how he did this version because he got him with the waist lock, lifting him up almost like a deadlift German, and then he transitioned it almost into like a midsection Uranagi for the win. So I actually thought that was pretty cool.
Or as we used to call with Batista, the good old fashioned spear buster.
Exactly. And then, he wanted to continue the attack anyway. He started to pick up Raw a little bit. And then Cassius Ohno came running down. They have a stare down. But what I like here, and again, I like Lars Sullivan more and more a little bit every time I see him, is he just laughs right in Cassius Ohno's face. Just laughs in his face. And then even when he's on the apron, he takes one last look at Cassius just so he can laugh at him again. And yeah, that just shows you the confidence that Lars Sullivan is brimming with. And I gotta say, I think just as like a Haas fight, just as let's see what these two can do together, I am looking forward to this match. It should be good. But yeah, a quick effort by Lars Sullivan, got that little bit of build against Ono. And that's all I have to say about that. So unless you have anything to add, we can again move on.
Well, then we got Johnny Gargano in William Regal's office and telling him, hey, man, I want to be a successful singles wrestler. And Regal's just like, I believe you can be. Pete Dunne issued an open challenge for the UK title, and I want you to be the guy to take him on at War Games.
Well, actually, it would be, what would it be, the week after War Games? I thought, because this isn't going to be on War Games, right? It's going to be next week.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be next week along with Ruby Riott versus Jesus, the hair up or square up. Sonya Deville. I thought it was going to be on that same show.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, so yeah, that's still cool that Gargano's getting the title shot.
Cool, he's getting the title shot. I don't really know how much narrative sense it makes. I mean, I guess you could say that was kind of a nitpick for me that I didn't realize I had until, getting into this segment.
Well, does it really need narrative sense when the whole point is it's an open challenge and Gargano's probably not even going to win the title?
Yeah, I guess you know what? They protect themselves with the open challenge, albeit just barely. It still kind of makes me raise an eyebrow a little bit, but you know what? Whatever. Johnny's great, and it really is nothing against.
Preferred it if it would have been like an explicit open challenge that Dunne actually said, rather than Regal kind of conveying it to Gargano.
Yeah, I agree. That would have made it even cleaner.
Kind of cop-outy.
Yeah, because I need everybody to understand this is nothing against Gargano from my perspective. If anything, this is me defending Gargano because I want him to have coherent stories. Otherwise, how are we really going to be able to fully invest in him? But it's whatever. It's going to be a great match. Johnny makes everybody look like $1 million, and Pete Dunne's already $1 million on his own, so he's going to look like $2 million at best in this match. And that's really all I can say about it. Should be a great outing, but let's move on.
All right, then we got another War Games video package, and this was the one that you were commenting on earlier.
Yeah, I like that everybody kind of piped in, gave their thoughts. I mean, they're really making this match feel like a big deal. I mean, my God, the TakeOver is named after it, so it's going to main event. Should be a lot of fun, but really when it comes to matches like this, I'm just like, the time for talking is over. I want to see it. This will be my first War Games because that whole match concept was before my time. So I'm very excited for it. But yeah, it was a nice video package. If you want me to be truthful, guys, as far as the video packages we got tonight, I thought Aleister Black versus Velveteen Dream was the best one. Like, that got me the most hyped, if I'm being truthful. Like, I cannot wait for those two at TakeOver War Games. But this was not bad at all. I mean, Ashton, do you have anything to say about it? Because there's really not much you can say about a video package in my mind.
Up next, we had Mercedes Martinez versus Ember Moon, and now I'm thinking we might have a little more to say.
I thought this match was fantastic. I told you that when I did research on Ember Moon a little while back, when she was first coming to NXT, one of the things I saw was her versus Mercedes, and I want to say it was Shine. And I thought it was a great match, and I thought they replicated, kind of a great match here. Mercedes is so technically sound, her form is perfect, just her ring savvy and everything else is just so on point. Like, I look at these two working together, and I think, one of the beautiful things about Ember being potentially NXT Women's Champion, I would love to see these two have a full-blown program over that title, with the story being, Mercedes has done everything, but she's always wanted to be here, and, she's obsessed with being champion, the wily veteran, a very basic story. I'd love to see that between these two.
Which is all NXT knows how to do anymore.
Well, and hey, at least with these two, you'd get a lot of mileage out of it, at least. Because, you got Mercedes bringing her A game. She did a stalling, it was part of like a triple vertical, but the final suplex, the stalling vertical, was a thing of beauty. The running Tower of London was gorgeous.
I saw that, yes.
I popped for her double A spine buster too. I mean, before I used to say that Rude had a good one. I feel like as he's gotten older, it's kind of slipped a bit. But Mercedes, man, that was on point. Ember Moon did a tope suicida that was fantastic. And then, of course, the Eclipse. I think one of the best finishers going in any promotion today. It's just gorgeous, especially when you've got a good person to really take and sell the move. I thought Mercedes did fine. And yeah, I just thought this was a great outing between two exemplary women. And I'm curious to know your thoughts on the match, since you even yourself said that we might have a bit more to say here.
Well, yeah, because obviously there were some great moments in this match, and I think it probably was really good in front of a live crowd, but I got taken so much out of it from the freaking commercial. And the funny thing is, like, the ads that were played during this match, it was the Aleister Black Velveteen Dream video package, I believe. So
yeah.
It's like we were getting something good inside of something good, but it made the good thing that it was inside of less good.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy how that works. So, because I know you even said at the beginning of the show, we were talking about nitpicks and stuff, that you felt like Ember and Mercedes, from their own efforts, were establishing a good flow, but then, the network handling, it was like they deliberately disjointed that flow with their ad placement. Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, were you able to get back in the match towards the end, or were you just kind of like, they ruined it, or like?
I mean, the thing is, my network started to kind of screw up as far as like network connection goes too. So not only did they go to commercial like 5 minutes into the match, but then when they came back from commercial, I was buffering all over the place. So I unfortunately couldn't get as I would have wanted to. I'm probably gonna have to go back and rewatch it as like a video on demand kind of deal, and hopefully that'll be more enjoyable. But first watch through had so many disruptions that I just, unfortunately.
Yeah, that really is a shame. I would go back and watch it.
I mean, it's not even, that's the thing, is it's not even like me saying, oh, well, the problem is the workers. It's not. Like, I'm sure the match was good. I'm just saying, I personally, from a personal experience, I couldn't enjoy this experience because of A, the ad break, and then B, the technical difficulties that I underwent while I was watching it.
And that's totally understandable. So really not much more you can say than that. Ember Moon does again win with the total eclipse. After the match, you have Nikki Cross's music hit. She comes out and, she kind of stares down Ember Moon. Then Peyton Royce comes out. Fortunately without Billie Kay, but, she's like taking care of her own business. And then, of course, Kairi Sane. And for those of you wondering, I tied Johnny Goodfellow up. He won't be interrupting this week, but we may get a special appearance from him at TakeOver War Games live reactions, especially if she wins the goddamn title. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Yes.
But we're going to talk about all that tomorrow at 8 o'clock for our War Games.
Yeah, and if you guys are wondering why we're kind of blazing through this review of NXT this week, that's why. Because NXT TakeOver War Games preview predictions is tomorrow, and we don't want to give anything away.
Yeah, I am being tight-lipped. You noticed I am zooming through this shit. So they all just kind of stare each other down. Are we at the McIntyre Almas confrontation already? Because I feel like that was the only thing after this, right?
McIntyre, yeah. The problem here, again, this was during the time that I was having network difficulties, so I didn't actually get to see this segment until Andrade showed up. So you're going to have to let me and everyone else know what Drew McIntyre said when he came out for his...
Just to give you the cliff notes, it's the same thing he's been saying. Like, he wants Andrade to be a man, and he did have one great line that really stuck out with me. Zelina, you talk about obstacles and mountains, talking for Andrade, you talk about these obstacles and mountains, but you're going to find here in NXT, I am the mountain, and he holds the title up high. So I love the confidence that Drew exuded as champion. But then, Andrade's music hits, and you said you saw all this. Zelina comes out, she's smiling wide. Andrade, though, and see, I hate to be too nitpicky, and again, I'm not going to say too much for preview predictions. I wish we could have heard Andrade talk a bit. I get that maybe you want to fight to sell it, especially because they're not going to be in the main event. War Games is the main event. But, yeah, he just takes his suit off. They get into a scuffle immediately. Drew seems like he's got the upper hand, but then Zelina off the top rope tries a crossbody. Drew lets her down. He's like, what are you doing? And then Andrade, chop blocks Drew. And then we get a great visual of him getting the hammerlock DDT off on McIntyre, which was great. I mean, he spiked his head in that canvas. And then Zelina is holding up the NXT Championship and just like drawing Andrade's eyes to it and saying, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. So as an Andrade mark, I'm like freaking the fuck out. But again, I do wish we would have gotten Andrade in his own words, because he has such a story to tell, coming from NXT, struggling a little bit, and then him and Zelina. Well, Zelina really finds him. I was going to say they find each other, but she really found him, lit a fire in his ass, and now he's here. I would have loved for that story to have been told in his own words to McIntyre's face. But I'm not even going to classify that as a nitpick, because they never promised me that's what would happen. They said a face-to-face confrontation, and that is what happened. So Andrade stands tall, and that's how we end NXT, with just one last look at War Games before Saturday. So since you saw the Andrade half, what did you think of it?
Yeah, I loved it, man. I loved that Andrade came storming out, and then he immediately went down, goes after Drew, and then, I mean, obviously Drew puts up a fight, and they kind of brawl, and Drew gets the upper hand, but then you see Zelina come off the top rope. I thought that was great. I thought it was so cool to actually, see her continue to get involved with opponents of Andrade. I think that's awesome that they're doing that with her. I think that's so cool. And then, yeah, that allows Andrade to get the chop block, which I think might play into Sunday. Andrade going after that left knee of Drew's. You never know. But yeah, that allows him. And this, I think it was important to show that even though Drew is this gigantic, gargantuan human being, that Andrade can still hit that sweeping hammerlock DDT on him. I think that was important to show. I wish they would have shown that a little earlier so that we actually could have gotten some promo work tonight, like you said. But I'm glad that they showed it at all.
Oh, I certainly understand where you're coming from, and I agree. I think it's a visual, and not to be hyperbolic here, but I think it's a visual that definitely imparts much-needed credibility to Andrade, because I still probably think that there are people that are like, man, he's getting a title shot already. Like, I thought he was just recently losing and this and that. And I think when you give him a visual like this, it plants the idea in their mind, well, maybe he can beat McIntyre. And I think that's important, because if you get him to ask the question, you get him to watch. And if you get him to watch, well, you know the rest. So, yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. Really got nothing more to say about it. If you do, we can move on already to our next segment here.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, so I guess let's move on. What's next?
High spots, low shots. I'll make it real simple. My low shot's Drew McIntyre. He came out here really puffing his chest out. Again, had a solid promo, loved the confidence, but he got taken down a peg tonight by his challenger, ate a hammerlock DDT for his troubles, so McIntyre is my low shot. Who's your low shot?
I think my low shot has to be Mercedes Martinez, because she was talking some smack about Ember Moon and how Ember Moon can't win the big one and all that shit, and then she ate one total eclipse and took an L.
Yeah, you know what? I completely agree. Mercedes was shooting her mouth off, and
actually, you know what? Mercedes is going to be my honorary low shot. My low shot is going to end up being Riddick Moss and Tino Sabatelli, because talk about getting bitched out.
Yeah, that's an even better one, because I mean, a right hand, really.
Yeah, and really, it should just be Riddick Moss, because Tino was trying to play defense and Montez was holding him back. But Riddick, you got pinned by a punch, dude.
Yeah, like so weak. High spot, Ember Moon. I mean, had a legit competitive match with Mercedes.
Can I just make my high spot the whole women's division? Like, I love Ember so much. And then Peyton's music hit, and I was like, oh, yes! And then Kyrie comes out, and I'm just like, oh, John! It's so good.
God.
But yeah.
I know Alex Foster tagged me in something, because apparently, like, this new meme page is doing, like, Waifu Wednesdays, and Kyrie saying was the inaugural one. And I'm just like, oh, God, I have to bake something. Like, God, fuck what this woman does to my emotions, man. I'm going to be a wreck during live reactions. And of course, that's what you all want to see anyway. So thanks for profiting from my suffering, guys. You're the best. But yeah, like I said, my high spot's Ember Moon. Were you serious about your high spot being the women's division, or are you going to make a choice?
No. My high spot is just going to be Andrade, because, like I said, just proving that he could hit that hammerlock DDT on Drew was a big deal. He didn't pose with the title, but Zelina did, and she kind of it was cool. It was kind of like what Ember Moon did with Asuka when she like saw the title and she was like, "No, I'm not going to touch it until I win it, until I earn it." That's kind of what Zelina is forcing Andrade to do. Like you're not going to get your hands on this until you win it. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love it. You know, it's funny, dude. I just want to make like a quick note since I know this episode really wasn't much for like conversational pieces. We were talking about in our Lucha rewatch today, Puma, aka Ricochet, like, going to WWE and like, how would they use him? And like honestly, I think that guy, because we both agree that one of his weakest elements is like his speaking. If
Yeah.
they would give him a Zelina Vega type figure, I think he could own it. Because there is just a swagger about him. Like he knows he's good, and it kind of annoys us sometimes because he's like, "Oh, I know I'm so
Well, I
great."
mean, if
You
they're
know?
smart, they'll literally just mimic what Lucha Underground did with him and not have him talk until he's already kind of been embraced by the fan base. Like, just give him a mentor figure, give him a mouthpiece, and just let the mouthpiece do all the talking for him until the fans love him so much that it doesn't matter how bad he sucks on the mic.
I mean, I agree with you, but when I was just thinking about it today, I'm thinking like, okay, well, that's clearly the right thing, but what would WWE want to do within their kind of philosophy of what a star is?
Well, and
And
the thing there
yeah,
is, like, Vince McMahon hates managers, so even if they do something like that with him in NXT, it's never going to last on the main roster.
right, right.
Vince
Just
McMahon
the thought.
hates managers. He hates mouthpieces. Like the only reason that he has Paul Heyman around in the first place is because Brock probably has it in his damn contract that he has to.
Right. But yeah, just a thought I had because I've really been enjoying Zelina Vega's work. And the crazy thing is, I don't even hate Andrade on promos. I just think they're great together. And definitely a guy like Ricochet, I felt like could benefit from that. But regardless, that was high spots, low shots. Do you have any concluding remarks about NXT tonight before we do War Games preview and predictions tomorrow at 8?
Oh, I'm really excited about both of our preview predictions shows this week. Tomorrow night is going to be like the appetizer, and it's going to be like delicious and amazing. And then Friday night we get to the entree, and that's just going to be so not just filling but fulfilling. It's going to be awesome. I'm honestly, I think that the like over the next 4 days, I'm looking most forward to live reacting to War Games, but after that, I'm looking most forward to preview predictions for Survivor Series, then preview predictions for War Games, and then live reacting to Survivor Series because it's WWE and you just know they're going to find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much echoed my sentiments there. So, guys, again, one final time, because I know I'm getting ready to do the outro. Preview predictions for War Games is going to be at 8. Preview predictions for Survivor Series, that'll be on Friday. That's going to be at 9, but we'll say that again tomorrow, I'm sure. So, with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-ordinator commentary action. Guys, be sure to comment, subscribe, and like the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. All of our social media is in the description box, from the TWitWoW Facebook page to both Ashton and myself, our Twitter handles. It's all right there in the description, so please check that out. Two things I want to plug: the Teespring store. You already know we got everything from Emma t-shirts, the best t-shirt I think my partner's ever made, the real face of the women's revolution. We got the Braun Strowman t-shirt, I'm not finished with you, as well as all the other merchandise you guys have come to know us for. We even have a Scum Squad line of merch, including, stickers and coffee mugs. Check out our Teespring store. I think there's something there for every TWitWoW fan. Hell, we even have an I'm a TWitWoW guy and I'm a TWitWoW girl t-shirt, so we literally accommodate every need. But the big thing I want to plug, of course, guys, is the Patreon. You know what the big goal is. It's Progress Live Reactions. The goal is 120. We've wanted to fill the gap from SmackDown Live Reactions on Tuesday, and because we are this week in the world of wrestling, and we all know that the wrestling world is a big, beautiful, and brilliant place, we wanted to kind of extend our coverage to Progress. We are just shy of that goal by $19. I mean, if somebody was feeling really generous, they could handle that by themselves. But if you want to come together as a community and divvy it up, you guys know the best way to do it is the Discord. $3 a month for Discord access. You get to talk to Ashton and myself, and not just the two of us, everybody else that's in the Discord, which I see happen quite a bit. That's kind of its own little sub community within the larger TWitWoW community. And you could talk about wrestling, movies. We even have a not suitable for work chat, which I guarantee you James has probably monopolized. But, you know, we have everything there. It's only $3 a month. And guys, the thing is, I always call it a win-win-win-win. First win is because, again, that's really intimate access to Ashton and myself, as well as, you know, the most passionate TWitWoW fans. Two, you get us closer to Progress Live reactions. Three, you know, that money accrues. So if you're a member of the Discord for, say, 10 months, $3 a month, that's $30. You can cash that in for a live reaction to a 3-hour show, which is really just the biggest win of all, is the content control. So, yeah, guys, I just think it's a winner all around. Be a part of it if you haven't yet. And that's all I'm going to say about the Patreon. Only other thing I'm going to say, you guys already know most immediately this week what we have coming up. Tomorrow, 8 p.m., last time, TakeOver War Games preview and predictions. You are not going to want to miss it. I agree with Ashton. I feel like the preview and predictions videos we have coming up are going to be fire. I think there is so much to talk about. I'm hyped for both shows, but again, I'm just going to say right now, I am more hyped for War Games as it stands right now. I have some criticisms of Survivor Series that I can't wait to air out on Friday, but you got to wait. So we got preview predictions Thursday and Friday. Friday will be Survivor Series.
Here's a little spoiler as far as our concerns about Survivor Series. Both teams, at the average age of an individual on the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series match is over 40 years old. Just saying.
Hot damn. So yeah, that's a preview predictions you're not going to want to miss. It's the same way as tomorrow. You're not going to want to miss that either. But then if you want to talk about can't miss, I mean, live reactions for TakeOver War Games. I mean, guys, here's the thing. I'm going to level with you guys. I feel like for most WWE main roster pay-per-views, live reactions, I mean, obviously we shit all over the stuff, and that makes it worthwhile. But if you're the type of person that you're like, man, I love TwitWoW live reactions when John and Ashton lose their shit, like, say, when Marty Scurll won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, which may very well be my mark out of the year 2017. You know, if that's what you're here for, there is a very good chance you're going to hear a lot of that on Saturday, because between Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black, which I think has been just brilliantly executed, and I can't wait to talk about that in depth, my boy Andrade competing for the NXT World title, and my first ever War Games. Now, let me ask you, Ashton, real quick. Is this your first ever War Games, or have you seen a War Games match before?
I've seen clips of War Games before, but I don't think I've ever watched one entire match.
So this would be our first War Games match, and we're watching it together as best friends. Suck it, Chuck Taylor and Trent. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of worthwhile moments in that live reaction just from that alone. And then Survivor Series, you get the usual. If it's bad, you know we're just going to be talking with you guys, living it up, maybe having random conversations, being silly, and delirium may set in. I'm genuinely looking forward to AJ Brock and some of the elimination matches. So I think this batch of live reactions, what I'm trying to say is I think they're going to be special. I really do, guys. I think the next 4 days really are can't-miss content. And, of course, I'd be remiss if I went a video without plugging the content that I know you guys really care about. Q&A. That's going to be Thursday, November 30th. You know, we do the last Thursday of every month. And to every newbie to Q&A, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Discord. Those are the best mediums with which to submit your Q&A questions. And personally, I'd put Twitter at the top of that, mainly because I have a pinned tweet dedicated to receiving Q&A questions. You have a maximum of up to 4 questions per Q&A. You can ask them in any way you'd like. So if they could both be answered by, if they could all be answered by both of us, you can ask all 4 of your questions to Ashton and myself. If they're more specialized, like, oh, hey, Ashton, what do you think about the Denver Broncos this season? You know, you can ask that solely to Ashton, because I wouldn't have a fucking clue. And if you guys have a question for me, maybe about anime or philosophy or whatever, that you feel like I'd be more inclined to answer, you can do that. So the nature of how you divide the question, that's in your power. What you ask is at your discretion as well, unless we really express discomfort, and we'll let you know to give you ample time to swap questions, because we're good like that. But yeah, the power is yours. I think Q&A is a wonderful experience. If this is your first Q&A, we welcome you both to that and your new favorite wrestling podcast. And for you seasoned veterans, I sometimes can't sleep at night because I wonder what you're going to throw at us next and what weird things that we're going to be forced to think about when I really just wanted to live my life in ignorance. Love you. So, yeah, guys, that's that. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 for TakeOver War Games preview and predictions. Until then, tune in and peace out.